Good evening, one and all. Welcome to the Mental Health Webinar Series 2020 and 2021. Today we are in 492 session. Another 8 more session to reach 500. It is approximately tentatively August 7th, I think. So with your all support, all resource persons, the expert and all the participants who were traveling from the last year, with the support only it's going to happen. So it's a teamwork basically. And today we are going to have the topic called Plant Now and Harvest Later by the resource person Dr. Vidya Hari Iyer ma'am. And for the newcomer, I would like to give some introduction about Dr. Vidya Hari Iyer ma'am. Basically, she is the director for Smile Dental Clinic. She is the consultant dental surgeon. She is laser gold cosmetic consultant. She is the biomedical dental waste consultant. She is the inspirational speaker, psychotherapist, and counselor. She is businesswoman, entrepreneur. She is life and leadership coach. She is a behavior analyst. She is the past president of Indian Dental Association, Madras branch. And she worked past 12 years in the following areas like women empowerment, cancer awareness in women, community mental health, and she inspiring young mind series and cross boundary series. We can see the qualifier is more qualified. She is the completed BDS in 1995. She completed PG DLMS in 2003. She completed PG DHSM in 2004, and she done PG DGC in 2004. She done diploma in implant dentistry from American Academy of Implant Dentistry from 2004. And 2005, she completed diploma in neuromuscular and orthodontics. And she completed MSc Counseling and Psychotherapy, MPhil in Counseling, Fellowship in Laser Dentistry, Diploma in Dental Photography, Diploma in Dental Photography, University of Birmingham in 2019, and Certificate Program in Strategic Digital Marketing in 2019. Still, it keep on goes. So I would like to give some basic intro. So with this kind note, I would like to once again welcome on behalf of American College Madurai, MS Chellamuthi Institute Madurai, Madras School of Social Work Chennai, Red Pond Educational Psychological Research Center, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, and association like Tamil Nadu Career Counseling Association, Tamil Nadu Counseling and Psychotherapy Association. This kind note, I would like to invite Dr. Vidya Hari Iyer ma'am and all the participants for the wonderful evening session. Ma'am, over to you. You can take over the session.
So thank you, Salim sir, for that wonderful introduction. And good evening, friends. And thank you to all the senior faculty members. I know most of us keep meeting every day at 5 p.m. I guess it's become an alarm clock in our brains right now. By 4:40, we are all geared up to hear a speaker. And I have been hearing most of you almost every single day. And what can I say about this, the entire mental health webinar series? It's always been a pleasure to be associated in various formats as a listener or a participant, as a contributor, as a research, expert speaker. I guess, I've felt really blessed to be a part of it. And today we're going to talk about a topic called Plant Now, Harvest Later. I'm sure at the end of this 1 hour, you're all going to have a kind of a different approach to your lives. And I personally feel that's very, very important, especially in today's time. So with no further ado, I'll be sharing my screen. Salim sir, just let me know if my screen is seen. Just give me a second. Let me start sharing.
Yes, ma'am. Share here.
Done.
So now is my screen seen, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You can go ahead, please. Yeah.
Perfect. So welcome, friends. Welcome to another amazing session of the mental health webinar series. And I'm so happy that together in this journey, we are all going to cross 500 episodes milestone, and I don't think it would have been possible without three people. One is definitely God and technology. Otherwise, each of us are in different parts of India or the world, and we are connected only through a Zoom. So thanks to God and thanks to this technology that we are there together. Second is definitely all those people working behind the scenes to make each of these mental health webinar series a grand success. So kudos to the entire team, I guess, and third and last but not the least is definitely the participants. I guess without you, nothing would have been possible. So, I would also like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, and do be a part of this amazing series, which has been personally beneficial for all of us, right? So I'm going to talk on the topic today, plant now and harvest later. For all those people who are, attending my session for the first time, this is going to be a little different. So I would recommend all of you to take a paper and a pen, because as I tell you, there might be many personal experiences from your end. And these personal experiences, you might want to write it down. And I have a lot of questions or queries for each one of you. And I have been personally working on these queries, if you look at me, for the last 13 years. And I have, made the tables turn for me personally, in my life, not only professionally, but also in personal life. So I guess, this topic could be a game changer for each one of you. And with all God's blessings, let's get ahead with today's session. And as I told you, have a piece of paper and a pen, and write down your thoughts. In fact, you can divide that paper. One part is what you want to probably jot down what I am trying to say. The other part is what your mind is telling you right now, because both of it is going to be very important, right? So this is a very famous quote by Art Mandino, which says, always do your best. What you plant now, you will harvest later. So, this is so very important, because many a times when I'm just going to take an analogy of a tree and a seed. So you have taken a seed, and for all those people with the green fingers there, that it takes a lot of, a journey kind of process kind from where you start planting the seed, right? So first you will keep the ground ready, and then you will take the seed, and then you will place it inside, and then you'll close that, and then you will wait, put some water, wait for it to start its germination. I'm sure we have learned all this from the second or the third standard, and all of us have been a part of drawing of a tree and all that. And after that, we have seen that you have enough sunlight and enough space for the roots to grow, and then the branches to come out and leaves to come out, and so on, right? And after you plant the seed, after 2 or 3 days, you just go and start digging the ground there just to see if there was germination there. I'm sure you must be wondering, right? And if you keep doing this over a period of time, the seed will not even germinate, right? So because you're going on irritating it or not letting it do its best. So this is exactly what you need to understand in today's time, right? So whenever you put in your efforts right now, you might not see immediate results, but nevertheless, keep doing your best. And this is what is very important in today's times, right? So don't judge each day by the harvest that you reap, but by the seeds that you plant. This is a very famous quote by Stevenson. And he says, you should always keep doing your work and don't judge yourself. Many a times people say, don't be judgmental. Times we are judgmental towards others, but I have often felt people are too judgmental about themselves. That is something which we should avoid. See, we can be our greatest critics at times, and when we become our greatest critics, it just does not allow us to grow. We actually to bloom, and that is something which is not very nice. So you should learn how to put a pat on your back every single day for the work you have done, and don't judge yourself on an everyday matter. Don't do that, because sometimes I'm sure you must have heard the story of a dog and an elephant. For all those people who love animals, you would have heard this story. So this is a story where the dog says to the elephant, who is his very close friend, that my dear friend, you know what, I'm pregnant. And the elephant says, oh, I also have a good news to share with you, and I'm also pregnant. And the dog says, oh, that's nice, so both of us are pregnant. Let's see how many kids we deliver. And within about 6 months time, you see the dog has given a litters of puppies, and they're just jumping everywhere. And 6 months have passed and the elephant has not yet delivered. Now the dog goes to the elephant and says, like, my dear friend, you said you were pregnant and then you have not delivered yet. So then the elephant says, but I am pregnant. And the dog says, no, see, I was pregnant and I've delivered, and you can see the result, and you have not. So the elephant says, like, mine takes time, and I'm ready to be patient enough. And after, the termination of the pregnancy, that's when a baby elephant is born. And when a baby elephant is born, I don't know how many of you have seen baby elephants. I'm sure right now in WhatsApp, many forwards come, but they are such a cute sight to see. And it is so refreshing. The kind of awe people are when they see a baby elephant is something different than when they see puppies, right? So sometimes you need to wait for that harvest to happen. So that is something, again, we need to understand, that sometimes there is a kind of a process which takes time, and we should be patient enough during that process. So let's understand the 10 work ethic traits that we all need to develop or plant right now. Many a times I used to think that, the pandemic has come. A lot of us have got a varied kind of experience of this pandemic. And I can tell you a little from my side of the story. I'm a dentist. I have a practice of my own, which is around 21 plus years. I can say 21 and a half years right now, in the heart of Chennai city, in Tamil Nadu. So I know many of you are from other states also. So I stay in the capital of Tamil Nadu called Chennai, and I'm in a very concentrated area called T Nagar, and it is the heart of the Chennai city, where if you imagine Chennai to be a place of pattu saris or Kanjivaram saris and jewelry, then I stay there. So that is what I am. Right now, that was my workplace. Now, if you look at my psychotherapy also, I used to keep traveling, giving lectures left, right, and center. And I used to always have a bag, packed with my clothes. Every weekend, I'm traveling to some city or the other. Come pandemic, my whole chart, which was filled till about August of 2020, all my programs got postponed, and eventually we did. I don't know whether I can say cancelled or carried over, whatever, that's what had happened. So then we sit to understand that should I continue my work ethics? Because the first 2-3 days, I guess we all thought it was an extended holiday. Like, imagine if you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday as a holiday, right? You would want to just sit and relax and do nothing at all. And that's what even I was. So I just took 3 days off. I had I was a mast mala, just sitting, enjoying, getting up late, eating at whatever time. But then after 2-3 days, I was fed up. I was not happy that way. I liked my breaks in between my work, not a complete break where I do nothing and I have nothing else to do. So that is when I started thinking about another story, which I'm going to tell you right now. And then I'm sure, like, you would understand. So let's go to the story. So there was and the village was in drought. And when the village was in drought, many farmers were badly affected. And one whole year went by and they could not do anything, no rains. So they were fed up, and all of them were like, in hunger, and a lot of things happened along with that. So in that, one farmer, he every day got up the usual time before sunrise, and then he did whatever ablutions he had to do at home, and then he started and he went ahead to the farm. So as he walked to his farm, one of his friends said, "What are you doing? Every day you're getting up and going. What is the use? It's a 1 year, there is no rain, and we are all in drought, and what do you do?" He says, "No, I understand we are in drought, but then I am a farmer. I need to go do my job. It is up to God to give us rain, but if I don't do my job, I'll forget my work ethics." So he says that, and he just keeps going to his farm, and then the garden, and then he goes, he plows the village fields, and does his job, and he comes back, and every day he keeps doing this and whatever he has to do, and with just the faith in mind that one day the rain would come, and whatever he has sown would reap. And thanks to his belief, and the rain came one night, and whatever he had planted started to germinate, and it made a lot of sense to him, whereas the others, it was just that way. So this is so very important for us to do our work ethics even during the pandemic. Please don't think that we can just sit at home and do nothing. I even, in fact, last evening when I was counseling for a person, and she said, like, yeah, I'm just having fun, doctor, but it's just that I'm feeling a little low and things like that. So these work ethic traits is something which we can never give up. Okay, so you know who you are, and you need to work towards that. So let's understand these top 10 points as I explained to you what is work ethics for you. Okay, and we need to plant our work ethics, and this is the time to plant. So first thing is appearance. Now I'm sure for all those who joined in or logged in exactly at 5, Muttaya sir, beautifully he started saying, he said, like, women bring color because they need to dress up, and they look different each time, but men, whatever we do, we are just the same. Understand, I did not know he's going to give me a prelude to my topic, but just on a lighter side. So appearance makes a very important the way you try to project yourself, and this is very, very, very important, whether it's a man or a woman. I mean, there is absolutely nothing. You first have to love yourself. There is nothing called body shaming. You can be fat, you can be thin, you can be tall, you can be short, you can be dark skinned, you can be fair, but all this does not matter, my dear friends. What matters is the sparkle in your eyes. When you talk to people, you see that you open your eyes and you talk, and that would bring the connect. Now, many a times I've heard people tell me, Vidya, but there was a time when we used to connect to people, especially offline. I used to, turn my head, walk around the place, and that's how I used to give lectures. And now, how do you do that? You're sitting in a place, and how do you do that? So I said, a very simple thing. You have a small dot in that laptop. Look at that and speak. And then, you can have your hand gestures, you can have your body language, and all this is very important. How you try to present or project yourself is very important. Dress up neatly, especially, at least from the head to your waist is visible, and you need to, fit that part. Draw, and when you dress up, now this is another thing which I learned for appearance. You have a wardrobe of yours, so divide your wardrobe into 3. Okay, so whatever clothes you have, I'm sure you must be having some casual clothes, and then some nice clothes where you need to go out, and then you have a kind of clothes where you wear for some festivities or something like that, right? So whenever it's a normal day for you, you can wear your casual clothes. Now that is fair enough. But when you are in front of people, wear one notch up. That's what we say. That one notch up would be probably some nice clothes where you go out. And the last part, when you have to dress up for those special occasions. And that is what is going to bring the kind of a camaraderie even through a online platform. So your appearance, right from the way you dress yourself, and you put makeup, or for the men, just to be well groomed, that is itself a very important thing. So what are those checklists which you need to understand for a personal presentation, which is very important for effective communication? It is your self-esteem and your confidence. When you look into the mirror, how do you feel about yourself? Your effective way of speaking. How confident are you in what you're going to present? Now, this is very important. You can have your trial runs. You can, have a kind of a go through of your presentation, so that, you connect with yourself first. And then, as I told you, your personal appearance, your gestures, make it very real. Don't put out a facade, or, a kind of put on accent, or put on way of expression. No, just be real, be yourself. We want to see the real you. Now that is very important. Many a times when I have done sessions for pampering yourself series, which I do, many people tell me, should I become somebody else? Many a times this happens, especially when in a wedding photograph you see the bride and the bridegroom, and then you see the bride and the bridegroom the next day. You don't know whether they were the same people, right? So there's so much of makeup. You don't have to do that. You just have to look yourself, but that should come out from within. That is the most important thing. And of course, the kind of the posture. Now, when I am talking online, see that your shoulders are broad enough and open shoulders, and you're not stooping or you're bending. And sit straight, sit erect, have a good back support, and put your feet on the ground and sit comfortably, because you might have to talk for about an hour or so. And similarly, for all of you who are there also, you're working through the day, so sit and be very relaxed. And accent is something which we want to I will not say downplay, but be yourself. That's what I would say. You don't have to put up somebody else's accent. It's not going to work out. Just be yourself. And facial expressions, they say, let the eyes and the smile do the talking. So always see that is very important. Body language I spoke to you about, and space distancing. So have a kind of space from yourself, especially when you're online. Your appearance is going to make a world of difference. Next is attendance. I guess that also I started today. I said, very important. All of us know 5 o'clock we have to connect, right? Now, when you start putting in your action or activity, whether it is online or offline, this attendance is going to make a lot of difference in all our lives. Now, this could be when I go through the last part of this lecture also, you would understand that each and every day, what all events you have chalked out for the day, you have to commit yourself, and you'll have to put that. So this is the time to sow, which means you have to be there 100%. I'm not just talking about being there physically, but I'm talking mentally also. Are you absorbing the information which is being thrown in front of you, and how much of that information you are able to digest and then put it into action before excretion, if I'm going to use it in a biological terms? So it's very important for you to absorb as much as possible and put it into action. I always say this, knowledge is not power, my dear friends. Applied knowledge is power, and we need to apply all the knowledge we are receiving every single day, and that is what is very important. So you today to achieve tomorrow. So attendance is so very important. It's a commitment for you to become a better version of yourself for tomorrow. So very important. Next is attitude. I'm sure you must have heard about this, that, you know, when you add up all the alphabets of the English language. Now, if you say A is 1 and B is 2 and C is 3 and so on till Z, and you add up any words, you will never get 100%. So the only word which gives you 100% in the English language is the word called attitude. So not knowledge, not any other thing, but attitude. So attitude is so very important, and always have a very positive mental attitude. So the ability is what you're capable of. Motivation determines what you can do, but attitude determines how you do it. And this is very important. So attitude is the key. And attitude also depends on your belief, the behavior, the perception, what you have, and the emotions you perceive. I can take a 1 hour session only on attitude, but you know, I'm just going to have a slide for you, points of it, right? So attitude is a little thing that makes a huge or a big difference. This is what Winston Churchill said. So this is again very, very important. Attitude is the key. And whenever you approach life with a great kind of an attitude, the connectivity is much better. Next point, the fourth point, is character. Now, character is the right thing. Nobody is looking. This is what J.C. Watts said. See, I had a very honest, true story. There's a father and a son, and they are on a bike and they're traveling, and they come and there is a signal. So I'm sure all of you know the red, amber, and the green, right? So the father stops at the signal. Obviously it's a red signal, so he stops, and the child says, Dad, why are you stopping? There is no police here. So he says, if the police was there, or when the police is there when I stop, that means you know, I am showing a respect to him, or I'm following the rules, or something like that. But when nobody is there and still I follow the rules, that shows my character and my integrity. So that is very important. What are you in reality? Even when nobody is watching, who are you? That is your character. So that is what we need to build for ourselves first. We need to be our role models for the children and for anybody for that matter. It is not what you want them to see, the way you know, perceive about you. It is how or who you really are. So be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think you are. So, you know, if you are building up yourself this time, build up your character, my dear friends. Be committed to yourself and, you know, prove who you really are through the character you try to portray. So, what's your thoughts? They lead to attitudes. What's your attitudes? They lead to words. What's your words? They lead to actions. What your actions? They lead to habits. What your habits? They form your character. And what your character? It determines your destiny. So if you're going to plant the right kind of seeds right now for becoming a better version of yourself, this is what you need, right? And character cannot be developed in ease and quiet. Only through experience of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved, as said by Helen Keller. I'm sure all of you know who Helen Keller is. And, you know, it is so important when you go through challenges. That is when they say who you really are. I'm going to share a story right now, and I love telling stories. I hope you love listening to them too. So there is this artisan who is actually trying to make a murti, and once he's you know, completed everywhere, every part of the murti is fine, and this is going to go above, literally above, where people might just look from a far distance. They might not know any you know, defect. And he does everything, and just that last bit of work is left, and he is just taking his chisel to do that final work part, and the tip of the nose of that beautiful goddess just gets chipped a little. And you know, he just looks at that goddess and he says, oh my god, such a beautiful thing, and I spoiled the nose. and he's thinking now it's going to be up there, and nobody is going to be able to see that, and he's thinking what should I do. Just then his friend comes and says, nobody is going to see that, just give it off, it'll pass through, you're such a great artisan. And then he sits through with himself, and in quietness he says, nobody else would know it, but I would know it. And that will not allow me to do my work next time. So he sits through the night, makes another goddess just that way, without that defect. So that is what is your character. So that is where you need to be truthful to yourself. That is where your character gets built. I'm sure you would understand that you need not please somebody else, but do please your own self, because that's going to be the game changer. Next is communication. The biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand, but we listen to reply. If somebody is actually going to come and talk to us, even before we have listened to them completely, we always start having a kind of an opinionated things about them. Now, as a counselor, we all have to develop a kind of a behavior to be very good listeners and being non-judgmental. So this is something which in reality, that means in real life, we have to first formulate for ourselves, and then we need to practice it outside too. So when we really start to listen, I guess people start to connect to us. And as I always say, there's a beautiful book on communication called Everyone Communicates, but Few Connects. This is a book by John C. Maxwell, a very good bestseller book. So for all those people who want that, you need to get that book to understand that everybody would communicate, but only few of them would connect, and they would connect directly to your heart and soul. Oh, that is very important. So that book is called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect by John C. Maxwell. So good communication is a bridge between confusion and clarity, as told by Charya. So this is very important. We need to clear off all this confusion in our brain. And when you try to communicate, you should have absolute clarity, not only of your words, but of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and everything. Next is cooperation. Now, whatever you do, I'm sure unity plays a very important part, and teamwork and unity and cooperation and kind of a synergy, a positive synergy has to be there. So what Robert John Meehan said was the most valuable resource that all teachers have is each other. Without collaboration, our growth is limited to our own perspectives. So each of us are a part of a puzzle. Oh, I'm suddenly hearing my own echo. Okay, I'll continue. So, oh my God. I guess somebody's audio is on. I'm not sure. Yeah, now it's fine. Thank you.
Now it's,
So,
Mary actually, it was Mary
Okay.
something. Anyway, ma'am,
Okay. I'll go ahead. So this is very, very important, my dear friends. So, when we try to collaborate and see, we are all a part of a puzzle. Now, if you want a perfect picture, each of us have a role to play. So never think your role is small. Whatever your role is, do it best. And, you will get recognized for that. So that is very important. And cooperation is a higher moral principle than competition. I always say, we should all learn to, complement each other, complete each other, never think of competing with each other. So complementing is, you have done something which you are good at, I will do the rest which I'm good at. So together we make it better. Then is to, each other and then complete each other. The other one is compete with each other. Now we are not here to find who is better. That is not our job. Our job is to do the best. So this is what Bryant McGill said. Next is organizational skills. So developing keen organizational skills in the workplace eliminates unnecessary ineffectiveness and enables individuals to efficiently perform essential job tasks. So you have to develop this kind of a synergistic work flow pattern In your organization, if you are a part of an organization, or in your individual, then that way in your house, and all this would actually, reduce the kind of ineffectiveness. And these skills are especially important for workers who multitask on a regular basis at their workplace. Next is productivity. Now, productivity is also very important. I always believe in not multitasking, but practicing mindfulness. But when I practice mindfulness, I'm able to actually do more work in a 24-hour day because I'm giving my best in each quadrant. Now, this is a chat I had with Salim sir, and he said, ma'am, I really want to know. He had a and he said, I want to know, how are you managing your time? You're a practicing dentist, you're giving lectures, I follow you, and I know you're so busy. How do you find time? Only one simple example. If you think you want to contribute, you need to know how to time space your work. And this depends on three very important, aspects or elements. First is finished work is excellent, which means the quality of work. Now, when you do something, give it your best shot. Never ever make yourself think that, oh, I could have done this better. Next is quantity. Lots of tasks which are completed. So write down what all tasks you have and complete it, and the number of tasks will depend on that. And little effort is wasted, which means efficiency. Or how can you make yourself active, productive, and get the results what you want? Now that is productivity. Being busy, so I always say, many people say, oh, I am busy. I say, busy doing what? That is a question which you should answer yourself. So you need to know your priorities and try to work on those to get a better quality, quantity, and efficiency, which are the three elements of productivity. Next is respect. Now, respect is something which we would give for people who are senior to us, who know much more than us, things like that. Learn to open-heartedly appreciate people and, honor people, recognize people, support people. That is absolutely important. And show your gratitude. All this together would form that love which you have for people. So this is another very important thing. Respect of someone indicates the quality of your personality, as said by Mohammed Saki. And you can't force somebody to respect you. So many a times, but right now I've been a teacher or a lecturer for the last 26 odd years. So whenever I speak, my friends tell me, Vidya, when you speak, people listen. But when I speak, people don't. There is always a noise in the class and things like that. So I used to say I didn't do anything different. But so I always say this quote. I say, you can't force somebody to respect you, but you can refuse to be disrespected. So I'm very clear. Whenever I offline, when I used to give lectures, cell phones are outside the class. It's never inside the classroom, or it's on the last bench. And sometimes I give lectures to people who are even senior to me in age, because I practice something called laser dentistry, which is bloodless, painless dentistry. And I can proudly say I'm one among the top 3, not only in India, but in Southeast Asia. So, I give a lot of lectures. I train students, I train doctors in that field. And sometimes even when they are senior or opposite gender, but the kind of respect they give me is totally different. And I don't say you have to respect me. It comes automatically. So this is very important, how you want to portray yourself. How do you want people to really foresee or look at you? Now, this is all something which you need to develop. Next is teamwork. Now, teamwork is, if you understand it, together everyone achieves more. So each of us, as I told you, are a part of a puzzle, and to have an effective team, we need to have commitment, good communication, change management, good connections, conflict management, cooperation, and contribution. So those are the 7 C's which forms the effective team. You reap what you sow, my dear friends. So we need to understand that we have to understand what we are sowing right now is what we are going to reap later. So it is only the farmer who faithfully plants seeds in spring who reaps a harvest in the autumn, which means when the time is for working, don't sit back and relax. This is the time for all of us to work very hard so that we can reap the benefits of this later. And it is like the seed you put in the soil. The more one sows, the greater is the harvest, as said by Orison Swett Marden. Now, this is also very important. How much can you sow? How much do you want to sow? It is all depending on you. It only puts you showing what priorities you have in life. Now, that is exactly how you want to take your life from now. Work hard, not so that you can reap the harvest later. So work so hard that is how you're going to harvest. And count the garden by the flowers, never by the leaves that fall, which means when you do something, you will always have some pitfalls, but never ever count those pitfalls. See here today, I'm sure all of us know how to cycle at least, right? We might have taken a cycle when we were 2 or 3, and then we must have fallen down. We had those 2 extra wheels to just hold us when we were probably very small, and then we started taking our own 2-wheelers or cycles, and then we started bicycling. And I'm sure all of us must have fallen down, hurt our knees, and we would have cried to our parents, and then they would have said, it's okay, beta, you can start up again. And we did that, and today we have crossed that path. So now can you think about the number of times you have really hurt your knee? Not really, right? But now you know that you can balance yourself. These were the small things which were taught to us to help us understand how we needed to balance everything in our life. And we will have pitfalls, but always count your life with the smiles and not by the tears that roll. So always keep thinking what good you have done, not by criticizing yourself. Many a times in life, things might just not go the way you are thinking, and always believe it's God's plan, and God is going to give you a better, beautiful, life ahead. So count your blessings, count your garden by the flowers, never by the leaves that fall. Count your joys by the golden hours, never when life's worries call. Count your nights by stars, not shadows. Count your days by smiles, not tears. And at every new day's dawning, count your age by friends, not years. So this is very important. You need to understand who you really are by the kind of smiles or goodness you spread on a daily basis. Imagine what that would do to bloom your life. So this is a very important quote by Mr. He says, what we plant in the soil of contemplation, we shall reap in the harvest of action. So whenever you're thinking something, put it into action. Only then you would reap it. You can't sit and daydream the whole day, or wish that something happened. That is what we call as wishful thinking. I wish I did that. I wish I had that. I guess all this is enough and enough, right? We have heard all these wishes. Now you have to make it happen. So this is the time when you make things happen, not only for yourself, but for the rest of your generations also. So he said that mere contemplative mental exercise is itself beneficial to humans who possess the unique abilities to think and analyze. First, start to contemplate. Now, when you think, now this is an exercise, the first one, which I'm going to ask you all to start doing. Think what you want in life and what are you ready to sow today so that you can harvest later. Now see the possibilities and go for it. Now you have to have a clear mental pictures of that which is going to change your life. So if you do not give enough efforts today, you will never get the hold of your dreams tomorrow. Just don't say I want something. Do or put in your action and make that happen for you, because the seed you plant now, you will harvest them later. So I'm going to show you my dream book. Now, this is a dream book I started writing right from 2009. So it's about 13 years since I have a dream book. And I'm not sure how many of you are Hindus, but I'm a Hindu. So whenever we have the Saraswati Puja Day, one of the books which I keep in front of Goddess Saraswati is this book. So these are the things, and I'm going to flip the pages for you just to tell you the number of dreams I have written. And this is something which I have done over a period of time. Don't think I wrote all of them on the same day. But I'm going to give you an exercise today. Whoever buys a good book, a good, nice, 200 pages bound book, and sit and write your dreams. And this is an exercise for you, my dear friends. If you write more than 100 dreams today, believe me, they're all going to come true. Nothing less than 100. Okay? 100 and one shot. And then you can keep adding. Right now you are seeing on board it is more than 394. But honestly, I had written about 1,000 plus. For people who can come home, you can see this book is always there. Next. Some people dream of success while others wake up and make it happen. So this is very important. It is not enough if you just write it down that I want this or I wish this happens. No. What is your contribution to make that happen is the next thing. Too many of us are not living our dreams because we are living our fears. We want something and then we are talking our way out of that also. Imagine you want a Lamborghini. And now you're saying, oh, my city does not have those big roads. And then, I don't have a parking lot for that car. And if I take that car, maybe people might dash it and it might have some scratches. And then I'll have to spend some money on that. It's a high maintenance. It takes a lot of petrol. Now, if you're going to talk your way out, how do you think you're going to live your dreams? So no dream is so far-fetched. It's just there in your thoughts because you are talking your way off your dreams. I am here, a big dreamer, and I would only love to weave your dreams. If somebody comes and talks to me about their dreams, I will say, what next? How was the car? What is the color? Did you drive in it? What was the feel? How did you feel driving it? Did you go on a long drive? Those will be my questions. I'm not going to ask you how much petrol you spent on it. That's not what I'm going to talk to you. So, live your dreams. Think about your dreams because if you're, failing to plan, you're planning to fail. That is the main thing. So let us understand the 10 meaningful New Year themes to adopt this year. For each of you, today is the new year. Okay. I know you're going to say 7 months have passed with how am I going to dream now? New Year is not January 1st, my dear friends. It's the day when you want to get into a newer version of yourself. So this year is a year of leveling up, is of living a fulfilled life, is a year of self-care and wellness, is a year of personal development, expansion, and building your knowledge, is a year of being the best version of yourself, is a year of building your network. It's the year of adding and increasing your values. It's the year of building your confidence. It's the year for you to see your financial growth. And it's the year for you to find and be yourself. Now, are you going to start working on yourself? And if you start planting today, believe me, you're going to harvest of, the best version of yourself soon. So let's see what dreams are. So I showed you that dream book of mine. So dream is just a fuel. Imagine you have a bike, you're just putting petrol inside. Now that is the dream. Now, if you don't know what to do with the dream, you're going to buy the bike is going to be parked with the petrol. That's all. But this should help you move forward. And how is that going to happen? When you have a dream chart. So this is my dream chart. I put it in open for you. Now you have to write what you want in your dream chart. Make it colorful, stick pictures, write on it, scribble, draw, do whatever you want. And then look at it every single day and see this is what you want. And if you can see my signature, I did this in 2017. Now, before that, also I had dream charts which came true. And then, I just left it. So this is my dream chart from 2017, and it's 4 years. And each day I can tell you I'm living my dreams. So this is very important. When you visualize, so there are 3 components to it. You have to visualize it. You have to keep saying about it, verbalize it. And third is when you vitalize it, when you experience it, when you get it and you enjoy it. So it is visualization, it is verbalization, and then it is vitalization. So write down, the next homework which I'm giving you right now is write down your 5 dreams that you want to achieve by 2021. Now, this is very powerful. Don't make it wishful. It should bring in some emotions into your heart. Sometimes these dreams should make you cry. December 31st, 2021 has come. You are going to welcome the next year, 2022. Is it just going to be another year? Or you have achieved whatever those things which you're emotionally attached to this very year, that really 2022 is going to be a happy new year. So imagine and write the top 5 dreams what you want. And I do this every single year, my dear friends. And you won't believe what I've achieved. If I show you, if you're people following me on Insta, Facebook, and YouTube, you will understand this, what I'm trying to say. Okay. So now it's not only 2021. I want you to go 5 years down, 2026, and 10 years down, 2031. You must be telling me, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow. So much of uncertainty, and you're asking me to dream. Believe me, if you're going to sow seeds of faith, of hope, of belief, you will reap that. If you're going to sow seeds of fear, so be it. What do you want to sow? Choose. So you are going to dream. You have already visualized it. Now you're going to put in your efforts and then you get the results, right? So that is how your graph works. I'm sure all of us understand the Pareto principle of 20-80, right? Or 80-20 rule is what we say. If you're going to put 20% effort, please don't believe that you're going to get 80% result. You have to put in your results. To get your results good, you need to put in your efforts right now. However, there is something called hard work and smart work. Initially, there is a lot of hard work, my dear friends. Okay, there is a famous quote. They say you need to put 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours in the initial phase in whatever field you do to start reaping the benefits. Think about yourself, your profession, or whatever you've done in life. 10,000 hours is what is the count which you need to put. So now let's look at if we put in 1 or 0.01 effort and sowing it today, what is the difference it happens in 1 year's time? So 1, if I'm going to put for 365 days, the component is only 1. But 1.01, if that is the effort I'm putting and I'm sowing in today, every single day, at the end of the year, it is going to be 37.7% increase. This is very important. Doing nothing at all versus very small, consistent effort. So consistency is definitely the key. Success does not lie in results, but in efforts. Being the best is not so important. Doing the best is all that matters. I'm sure all of you must be having a bucket list, and I've just put down certain things which I think, many of us have. You'll say that, I want to eat better and stay healthy, lose weight, exercise more, better financial decisions, self-care, improvement, learn a new skill, get a new hobby, quit smoking or alcohol, read more books, travel and explore more. These are the usual wish list or bucket list of people. But now, as I told you, I want you to write it down. And I generally give in 14 components and what I call the, like I showed you last time, we call it the spokes of the wheel. And that is what I feel is very important. So this is your year to sparkle. Let us not grow weary in doing good. Many a times people tell me, Doc, I've done everything, nothing really comes. And, I have sowed my seeds. It really didn't work. You have to wait for the proper time and you will definitely reap the harvest. They say, no, aap qatar mein hai, you are in queue. That is very important. You can't just get things, and there is nothing called instant gratification. You have to wait for a delayed gratification. And I'm going to talk to you a little about that. Life is not a 2-minute noodle, my dear friends. You need to, wait for the process to work. So you will have good days, bad days, overwhelming days, too tired days, I am awesome days, I can't go on any further days. And every day you will still have to get up and show up. They say, get up, dress up, show up, right? If you offer your free time to help out at a charity or to read a book to an older person or simply to give someone something without ever expecting a thank you, it's amazing how much more you're able to notice the blessings which fill your life. This is what Josh Austin said, and it's very true. Keep doing at least one deed for somebody who can never repay you back in your life. So never think that whatever you sow, you want a compensation. It's not a kind of a negotiation or a trading you do with God. Don't do that. Just do what you think gives you happiness from inside out. That is very important. And make it a rule of life, never to regret and never to look back, because regret is an appalling waste of energy. You can't build on it. It's only good for wallowing in, as said by Catherine. Now, this is very important. Many a times people say, oh, I did something, it didn't work out. I invested so much of my money, my time, my energy, my effort, things didn't work out. It's okay. You must have learned your lessons from that. And that's it. Think about it, close the chapter, move on. So one of the best known verses of scriptures is in the 6th chapter of the Galatians. Be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. This ancient admonition is simple and direct, and there is no margin for error in interpretation. Just going to take you a little to scriptural things. This is just to help you understand two very important points. Many a time when things go bad in your life, you say, God, why are you punishing me? What did I do? Always the blame goes upwards, right? So that is not how you need to think about that, right? So you reap what you sow means you get what you deserve. Whatever you put your time, talent, energy into is what you will get back. So you reap what you sow means you must eventually face the consequences of your action. So if you're doing something bad right now, think for whatever you sow, so shall you reap. So always see that you plant only good things and good seeds, and that is what you want to reap. Like if you say you have a ground, you're going to put, the mango seed, you will only get mango trees. You'll put the apple seeds, you're only getting apple trees. You're not going to put mango seeds and you're not apple trees. So you need to be very careful. So this is the great law, which is called the law of karma or the law of cause and effect. What you give, what you put in your energy into is what comes back to you. If you want a life of peace and love, give peace and love. So many a times on your shoulder, there is a person, the angel, and then the spirit or the Satan. And then, you always have, imagine right from getting out of bed in the morning, right? You want to exercise, and then the Satan says like, oh, give me 5 minutes. I'll just sleep this 5 minutes and get up. You close your eyes, you get up, and it's half an hour done. So which side of your shoulder you want to win, the good one or the bad one? Choice is yours. It is up to us to decide and work out. So if you don't like what you're reaping, you better change what you're sowing. That's another thing. And he who labors not cannot enjoy the reward of labor. And whatever you do, work at it with all your heart. Give it the all you can. Be very passionate about it as working for the Lord, not for the human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. And it is Lord Christ you're serving. This is again a verse from Colossians, and the similar verse is there in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 5, verse 15. And here again, God says, he provides the soul with the power to act. And once you have performed your actions with the power which is supplied to us, he notes our actions and gives us the results of our karma. So please understand, don't keep blaming God for things. That is something which I have always heard when I come into counseling. And I just think, okay, how can we make things better? That is how I look at it and start working. So life is an echo. And as Zig Ziglar said, what you send out comes back. What you sow, you reap. What you give, you get. What you see in others exists in you. And I have a small poem which I've written, which I'm going to share for the first time on this platform. There is already so much sorrow in this world. Let's sow happiness and joy. There are many to spread hatred. Let's be different and spread love. There are many waiting to pull us down. Let's choose to lift people up. There are many to find faults. Let's appreciate people. There are many to spread fear and rumors. Let's be the ray of hope and belief. There are many to make people cry. Let's choose to bring laughter and smiles. So, I just wrote a small thing on this topic. I felt it really meant, and until and unless you sow the right seeds, you will never be able to reap them. So what you do not sow cannot grow. So whatever you think you need. I have just put a list. Actually, the list is endless. And this is very important. It's a choice that we choose what to sow. You will always harvest what you plant. That is very important. And how many apples can you grow? So take an apple, cut it. You have many seeds in that. Scatter your seeds like a farmer, like I started the session. Scatter them. And not all seeds are going to germinate, my dear friends. You all know that. Not all plants will grow till harvest. That also you know. But what you harvest will always be more than what you sow. And it will happen at God's own chosen time, which is the best time to harvest. So this is very important. I'll be closing the session in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I
Just kind
want
reminder,
you to,
ma'am.
yes, I will be working on it. So these are things to self-regulate and have a self-check or a checklist, as what we would say. You need to understand, you have to have a kind of a delayed gratification in your mind and regulate yourself. That is called self-control. So delayed gratification is the ability to put off something which is of pleasure right now to get something of more fun, more pleasurable, and more rewarding later. So what is delayed gratification benefits? It strengthens your impulse control, improves your ability to save money, teaches the benefit of hard work, helps to become more appreciative, increases healthy decisions, helps to get rid of the guilt that comes with taking the easy way out, and makes you enjoy life more. So how do you start doing this? You use the scene field method. You just put a tick or a cross on the days you have chosen to do a work and just keep monitoring it. Once you do it for at least 21 days, it becomes a habit. And once you do it for 90 days, believe me, my dear friends, it will become your lifestyle. You will be marching towards your success path. And just do that one thing, as I told you, to improve it for 37% extra. And this, by just doing the scene filled method, is going to give you an ultimate reward, which will be very heart wrenching, and it gives you a kind of a joy which cannot be taken up, or it is so intangible that nobody can measure it. And this is correlated to the patience, the impulse control, the self-control, and the will part. So it is very important. And when you start doing this, whether any sort of a mental illness or a physical illness, you will get out of it. And that is very important. And we need teaching our children this. So don't give up and do what is right always. Never see that somebody has done something wrong and they got away with it. Don't teach all that. And the pain of waiting is so minuscule when you compare it with the joy of the reward. With patience and practice, all difficult things will become easy. I'm sure all of you must have heard about Sindhu's historic Olympic silver, and she was away from her parents and she was off social media for a very long period of time. So watch your urges and understand what you need to delay in life. Make a conscious decision, learn over time, and then enjoy the moment without any urge. So be away from social media, which means detox yourself on a daily basis so that this will give you your reward chemical, which gives you kind of pleasure and reward systems. And I'm sure all of you must have heard about this story of the marshmallow test. This is
Ma'am, sorry
very
to interrupt you. Vidya, ma'am, sorry to interrupt you. The same platform we have 6:30 at one session, know yourself by one resource person. So before that, we can.
Salim sir, we started late. There was some disruptions. I will be completing in another 5 minutes if you give me time. Is
Yes,
that
ma'am. You
good?
can go ahead. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Thank you. I understood. I got your point. I'm working on it. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So the marshmallow test. The marshmallow test is Walter Mischel who spoke about a very important test where, in front of the children, he kept a marshmallow and said, don't touch it, don't eat it for an hour. And after 1 hour, I'll give you two. Many children didn't follow it. Some took it, kept it in their mouth, some ate it. And this was a test which was published in a kind of a book to understand the self-control and understand their kind of life 30 years from there. A very famous Stanford experiment, and this is again, a test which many parents do, many counselors do to help people understand the value of instant gratification versus delayed gratification. And this is very important because you need to know your current self and your future self and what are your investment habits. So you have to invest and be a patient postponer, which means like whatever you see, especially buying things, and you buy it on impulse. So don't be very impulsive. Learn what you want and sow what you want, and always think that you're going to get something better, and live your day completely so that you have become a person of delayed gratification, and you have put all your priorities on list and you're working towards a better future. So this is the long-term happiness versus self-discipline. And these are the things which you need to do and understand, want to do, don't want to do, and really don't want to do. You have to put it accordingly and then work on yourself. And that is when you will get a lot of personal investment which you need to do, and then the rewards which you will get. And that is when you will get the mastery over it. So what are your investment habits you're going to work on from now onwards to become the best version of yourself is something which you need to ask yourself. So, and there is Murphy's law. It's always that whenever you think something bad should not happen, it will happen, right? So never plant or sow seeds of doubt and disbelief. Always sow of hope and belief. The ability to discipline yourself to delay gratification in short term in order to enjoy greater rewards in the long term is the indispensable prerequisite for success. So I'm going to show you a short video, and with that I would come to the end of the session. So I guess this one statement says it all. So you harvest what you sow. It's a Turkish proverb. So decide and design your life, my dear friends, because what you want to sow starts from right now. Okay. So thank you so much for a patient listening. My number is 9840176088 if you have any questions on this topic, and you can follow me on these social medias. Thank you so much, my dear friends. And over to you, Salim sir, if you have any questions.
Real good.
It was a wonderful session, ma'am.
Thank you so
Especially
much, Sunanda ma'am. Thank you so much, Muttiah sir.
the
You
one
planted
that I
good seed
got to
today.
ask, my learning experience was in you doing the dream work. That's real good. That's a practical one which you are following, and that really impressed me. Vision board is another one. Bucket list is another one. Even though I know the terminologies, I can talk about them. I have not followed them. Now that I know you are a follower, let me see 5 more months.
I have never said anything on a platform, social media, or any lecture of mine which I have never personally done, sir. I truly believe that I have to lead by example. Practice before you preach is something which I have followed from day one, and I personally feel that is what has given me the best results. So many a times I used to read, and when I started reading textbooks, I used to think their way of sharing their life story is so very impeccable only because they have lived it. For me to say that story, I can probably say it, but not with that passion with which they did it. So until and unless I do it, I will never be passionate about it. I can never, ever say that. So that is very important, which I personally felt. And, I have started working on it. And I wanted to show it to you because, until unless I show, it would be like, I'm just saying something. So if you come home, I have my vision board. It's there in my room, and I look at it every single day. And you can design your life. You are the architect of your life. You've heard this term, but have you understood this term? Do you have a blueprint? What does an architect do? He has a blueprint of the construction, what he's going to do. And that is how he makes you believe that that is the house which is going to come. And he finds the plumber, the electrician, the mason, and everyone to work with him in synergy to get that happen. We are the architect of our life. You can find the right kind of people. They say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So if you are ready, God, the universe will make it happen. I hope it was, it was an honest way of sowing today.
Well,
Thank you so much, sir.
It's a wonderful, ma'am.
Hi, Vidya
Due
ma'am.
to shortage of time. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to speak only 2 minutes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, Chitra.
I have no words to tell my gratitudes to you and your topic and the whole team. I'm very happy. I got the gratification very, very late, but the late gratification made me so happy and energetic. So today I was enjoyed your session, each and every word. I took screenshots too. Thank you so much, ma'am. I'll catch you in personally.
Thank you. I guess, this is a journey which is going to continue. My number is 98401-76088. So that's my number.
Okay.
Somebody has asked me for my YouTube channel. It is Team Red Rockstars, Dr. Vidya Smile Dental Clinic. Anyway, if you text me, I will send you. That's not an issue.
Okay,
So thank you, friends. Thank you so much for a patient listening. I really, I put a lot of thoughts in what I generally do, and I just shared a part of myself today. I think, that is what I should say. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sunanda ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Applied knowledge is more powerful. You worked in on it. Work ethics. It was a wonderful session. Due to shortage of time, today we are concluding. Kindly
Thank you.
accept our gratitude. Yeah. Tell me.
No. Go ahead, Sunanda.
We have 6:30 meeting now. That's why. Otherwise, we can discuss. It was a beautiful topic. Even I started my dream book after seeing yours.
Just do that homework of 100 dreams, write it today, and you have to do it 100. You have to write it in one shot, the first 100. Only then it will work out. If you write 50 today, 10 tomorrow, it will not work. So, and if you have done that, it's going to work out. That's the
Sure.
key.
All are will be beneficial. Today participants, no? I think 40 participants, all are only positive feedback, no? In chat box, it was a wonderful positive feedback. Thank you, ma'am. Kindly accept our gratitude on behalf of American College Madurai, MS Chalamuthu Institute Madurai, Madras School of Social Work Chennai, Red Pond Educational Research Center, Yellow Pond Counseling Center, then Tamil Nadu Career Counselor Association, Tamil Nadu Counselors and Psychotherapy Association. We thank you, ma'am. Participants, yet another new session tomorrow evening. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Vishal, Asta. I can see all of you clapping. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody who has put all those good words for me. Thank you. I'm sorry we don't have time right now to talk, but nevertheless, we'll keep in touch. Thank you, Gokulavani. Thank you, Chitra. Thank you, all of you. Sorry if I've not taken your names. It's just because of lack of time. Thank you so much.
Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Bye-bye.